When I first found out about colorism, it was on Tommy Sotomayor. He would show dysfunctional things in the black community, like in a funny way. So yeah, this was back in the day, like about 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't watch him for long because it seemed kind of mean-spirited. That's where I saw firsthand that there was bias against black women was on these sorts of online platforms. I really saw them as being harmful and spreading hate, and I thought, they would have a negative impact. It was really strange. I didn't know skin tone was something that people paid that much attention to, and it was upsetting to me. To me, it didn't make any sense because I don't see what is so important about how someone looks in the first place, and there are attractive people in all shades. Um, I don't think skin color has anything to do with it. I think dark skin looks just as good as light skin. To me, I thought it had to do with self-hatred or proximity to whiteness or otherness. I never thought it had to do specifically with skin tone because there are always other things referenced with dark skin, like certain behavior, and then light skin is always referenced with being mixed with something else. In other cultures, they say that colorism has nothing to do with white supremacy and that light skin is just a preference. In my experience with black Americans, a lot of the time it seems like that they viewed themselves through the lens of white supremacy and that had more to do with it. Like, it isn't just black men or black women in my experience, it's both genders preferring lighter skin, Eurocentric features, and looser hair. And the people I see doing this stuff, they are of a darker hue themselves. I think it comes from slavery, and I know people discredit that, but I think long ago it was taught in families that white and light is better, and those sentiments still linger to this day. I didn't grow up in the black community. Like, the schools I went to, there was like maybe one or two black kids in my classes. Like, I remember in third grade there was one black boy and one black girl in my class. In fourth grade there was one black boy, one black girl. In fifth grade there was one black girl, I remember. And I mean, we were always cool, we were always friends. Like, in fourth grade, I remember her name was Dominique. She was like a brown caramel color. Like, she was real brown. But yeah, we were really good friends. We used to hang out at each other's houses. We would have sleepovers. But yeah, she moved away because she was a military brat. Um, and then in fifth grade, there was this girl. She was from Africa, actually. She was dark skinned. I mean, yeah, we were friends. Like, we didn't have any issues, with the whole light skin, dark skin thing. When I was like in fourth grade, there were these two dark skinned girls that moved into my neighborhood. They were sisters. And yeah, they were kind of bullies. I never thought it was because, oh, it's because they're dark skinned. I just thought they had some self-esteem issues or something like that, and that was just it. Um, and these sort of, discussions to do with colorism, one of the main things that's, talked about is how dark-skinned girls bully lighter-skinned girls, like when they're younger, like in school. And to me, I don't hold bullying against someone like, from the time when they were in school. I like to think that people mature, they get a better self-esteem. And I like to think that, people move on. Um, when you're in school, you're very young and immature, so yeah, I just hope that those people grow and they move on. I mean, yeah, of course, bullying is terrible and it's not okay, but that's all in the past, and there's nothing that can be done to change what happened in the past. And again, I don't think that has anything to do with someone being dark skinned. I think that people of all shades, from all ethnic backgrounds, can be bullies. Yeah, I think maybe the main thing is they have some self-esteem issues, some anger issues, some combination of things going on, and that, maybe they need some therapy and they need to work through that. And then when I got older, I went to college. I moved to a more urban area where there was a higher black population. I had black women as, roommates, and I had more black people in my classes. I started to have some different experiences. Like, I remember there were a couple of dark-skinned women, like, they were trying to hook me up with their son. Like, they were saying that they think I would be a good fit for their son. And that was kind of odd because they didn't know me. I didn't think it had anything to do with my skin color, but in hindsight, I'm thinking maybe it did. And then I had a couple of roommates that were darker skinned. I had one roommate, her name was Latoya. She was like dark brown, but she had like a yellow undertone. Yeah, she was, cranky all the time, and she was always throwing like underhanded shots. And yeah, I didn't do anything to this lady, I was, really nice to her. But yeah, she would always reference my looks like in a negative way, or what I was wearing like in a negative way. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. And then I had another roommate, and she was dark skinned, and at first we got along well. At first she was like, "Well, you're a good roommate. You're quiet," but then she started to get like paranoid, I guess. She was kind of short-tempered. Like, she was accusing me of going through her things, and she thought like I stole some of her things, which I didn't. I have no interest to go through her things. But yeah, she was like threatening to beat me up and everything. So and yeah, I'm like non-confrontational, so yeah, I didn't make a big deal out of, these situations. I, just try to stay to myself and not step on anyone's toes. I was really, quiet and shy back then, like a mouse. Um, but yeah, I never, held that against dark-skinned women. I just thought, it was a combination of things. Maybe being dark skinned had something to do with it, but I thought it had to do with, mental health, racism, white supremacy. Maybe they grew up, in a bad area. Maybe they didn't have the best home life. I thought it was some combination of things like that. I didn't think, oh, those are just, some dark skinned women. That's how they are. Like, no, because where I grew up, I knew, dark skinned women, and they didn't act like that. So obviously it doesn't have to do with them being dark skinned. I thought it had to do with some other factors. But I don't know why they act like, it's just the women, like on these online platforms, because I had, almost as much trouble with black men, dark skinned black men. And, I wasn't, you know, living with them. So it was just, a random dark skinned black man that's, being angry and mad at me, having a bad attitude, and like I don't even know this guy. Maybe some light skinned girl broke his heart. I don't know, but I don't know what that has to do with me. But I mean, I never thought any of this had to do with someone being, just being black, black and male, black and female. Um, you can find white people that have similar problems or have a similar demeanor. I don't know, maybe they have mental issues, maybe they're uneducated, maybe they come from a lower class background, um, maybe they come from maybe they had like a bad childhood or something like that, some combination of things. But the proclivity to violence, beating someone up, that's not okay. I'm just going to call the cops, and you're going to have to deal with the courts. I'm not dealing with that. So, yeah, I mean, that's, pretty traumatizing. That's not something I want anywhere near me. So, yeah, that's definitely, not okay, no matter what the circumstances are, to just, bring that up out of nowhere, basically. I don't know if these situations had to do with me being light skinned. I don't know if that's why they were behaving that way, or if, they would behave that way with darker skinned women as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know to say for sure on that. Maybe they need meds or therapy or need to go to a psych hospital. I don't know. I don't know. I just, stay out of this, and I don't want to have anything to do with it. Yeah, I've had a few bad experiences, but that could be with anyone. Most black women are good to me. They've been nice. I'm not going to hold those few experiences I had with dark skinned women against all dark skinned women, because obviously not all dark skinned women are like that. And the college I went to, there were many black women, dark skin, light skin. I never seen them have any problems, to do with their skin tone. I mean, I pretty much, stay to myself and avoid conflict, but yeah, I didn't see, any sort of issues like that. So when I saw, like this colorism stuff online, I was like, I didn't really know people are having these sorts of issues, because I haven't seen those sorts of issues in my life. And that's the major thing with this whole colorism topic. Like, all light skinned women are this way or that way. They all think they're better. They all have a superiority complex. They all go against dark skinned women. Are some light skinned women like that? Sure. Do I think it's all? No. I think that light skinned people can have these behaviors, and I think that dark skinned people can have these behaviors. I don't think it has to do with someone's skin color. And honestly, you thinking that someone thinks they're better than you has everything to do with you. Some of us do. I don't see the problem with that, because people are entitled to think what they want. I don't see how that's affecting anything. If it's causing some problem for you, I think you should just avoid that person. There might be white women who think they're better. There might be black women who think they're better. It's just their point of view. I don't think that has anything to do with anyone else. Yeah, I think that everyone should think like they're the bomb.com, and they should find their own way to shine. That's how I feel about it, and that's how I look at it. But I do think there is a bias toward darker skinned people, and I do think they experience more racism. And there are some studies that support that. I always thought it was like a relatability thing. Like in the US, it's majority white. And I thought that, lighter skinned mixed people would be more relatable to white people and black people due to this. I always thought like the same thing, like if I was in Japan and there was an Asian mixed person, that they would have preference over me. Like I always thought that, since I'm half white, I would be more relatable to white people and would have preference with white people. Like, I don't know if that's true. I think it may have something to do with it. But yeah, it's not right. African Americans have been in the U.S. the whole time. So yeah, I think this is, something that is an issue and that we should be cognizant about and rectify. This also ties in with the whole thing with media representation and the focus on mixed women getting most of the media representation. Thinking there are people with more phenotypes, but then only focusing on dark-skinned women and not the other black women. With media representation, I always thought that dark skin would be the standard for black women. It just makes sense to me. But most of us aren't very light-skinned biracials, and most of us aren't very dark-skinned either. We have a lot of variation, and neither end is going to represent all of us. Even if there were no biracials, there's still going to be black people that look biracial. But yeah, I could see where that could cause resentment for darker skinned women, maybe because darker skin is seen as the standard for being black. But in America, African Americans, they have admixture, so most of us aren't very dark skinned. I think that most of us are like dark brown to caramel color. But yeah, mixed people come from darker skinned people, so I think there may be some resentment there, with thinking that mixed people have the best of both worlds. The thing with that though is it's not the light-skinned woman putting herself in those roles. To start, she probably auditioned against hundreds of other girls and was found to be the most ideal. That would be up to the casting agent and the director. And I mean, that's just her job. I don't see her fault in that. I think there is privilege in being mixed as far as these sorts of things. I think it has to do with relatability to the dominant society. Even in countries that are non-white, they still kind of pedestalize European features often. I don't know why. But other than that, you know, people are saying, oh, mixed people have it so good, they have privileges, when really they're pushed the most not to be themselves. We're getting hate from both sides that create us but don't understand us racially, and no one actually teaches you your identity or how to be you. And I don't understand why mixed people are being blamed for being confused about their identity when everyone else is white, black, and mixed. There have been times when, you know, I've told people that I'm mixed race, and, you know, they'll still refer to me as black, they'll still try to say I'm black, and I'll be like, no, wait, there's a difference, and then, you know, they'll act like I'm doing something wrong. The one drop rule has been pushed onto all of us, so I don't know why mixed people are being blamed for that, for being convinced that they're black. So yeah, I don't know if people are intentionally being obtuse or if they really don't understand what mixed people experience with being told to identify with being black only, but then knowing that they're mixed and knowing that they have a parent of another race. So of course they adopt both identities. And with colorism, it doesn't make sense to me to accept a dynamic that's going to hurt me. It's not a privilege to be put down by 85% of the population. That's being tolerated, not preferred. In the whole scheme of things, it just seems like putting us all down and making people who are higher up on this hierarchy feel good about this. You know, with black men, they love to come up to you and ask you if you're mixed and point out your skin tone and assert they're interested because of that. I always thought from a dark-skinned woman's point of view, that must be difficult to deal with men like that who are fixated on something totally different than you. But I mean, can you blame the light-skinned woman if a black man is pursuing her and favoring her? So yeah, I think black men are the root of the problem, but black women as well for seeing themselves in a poor light. You shouldn't be devaluing yourself because of someone's self-hate or what society shows you. I don't blame these people. How are they supposed to go against what they've been taught and what society is showing them? They're basically trying to navigate in a society that has contempt for them. I think a lot of people who are black or and mixed with black, they are just lost in the sauce in some cases, and they take on toxic beliefs and behaviors to compensate. And no, I don't think it's just black women or black men or mixed people. I think they all have the same issues at the root of it. They just mask things differently or express things differently sometimes. But yeah, I'm going to be talking more about that. This was all for this video. Yeah, thanks for watching.